Bartolo Longo had once walked the sacred halls of the church with unwavering devotion, a young priest full of faith and purpose. But beneath the stained glass windows and golden altars, he felt a restlessness gnawing at his soul. Questions that were never asked aloud consumed him, secrets hidden behind ritual, whispers in the cloisters, and the knowledge that not everything sacred was pure. His faith, though genuine, was a door to curiosity he could not close. Late one night, as the city slept under a thick fog, Bartolo discovered a hidden chamber beneath the cathedral. It was concealed behind a wall of ancient stone, a room untouched for centuries. Inside, he found manuscripts bound in leather, so old it crumbled at his touch. Symbols etched into the margins spoke of rites and knowledge that had been deliberately hidden from the faithful. The more he read, the more he understood. There were truths the church had protected, not for malice, but because the world was not ready. The knowledge shook him. He realized that alongside the teachings of salvation, there were accounts of forbidden powers, secret societies, and the thin lines separating angels from demons. Some priests had sought these truths to guide the faithful, others to manipulate power. Bartolo felt a mixture of fear and awe, the sacred and the profane intertwined in ways he had never imagined. As days passed, he began to notice strange occurrences. Candles extinguished on their own. Shadows moved independently of light. A presence seemed to follow him, not threatening, but observing, as if the chamber itself had awakened. Bartolo understood that the secret he uncovered was dangerous, not because it was evil, but because humans could not wield it responsibly. Yet he also realized that God had allowed him to find it, perhaps trusting him with knowledge that could either destroy or redeem. Word of corruption and hidden rituals among certain clergy reached him. Bartolo began investigating, walking a fine line between obedience and rebellion. He realized that some who sought to protect the church's power had veered into darkness, using the hidden knowledge for personal gain. It was a world of moral shadows where the difference between sin and salvation could be as thin as a whispered prayer. Driven by a mixture of fear, faith, and moral obligation, Bartolo dedicated himself to revealing what was necessary without bringing scandal. He worked quietly, helping those trapped in secret oaths, guiding souls back toward light, and protecting the sacred from being misused. At night, he prayed not only for forgiveness but for strength, knowing that every secret he uncovered carried both revelation and peril. Through it all, Bartolo learned a profound truth. The church, like every human institution, contains darkness and light. The deepest secrets are not meant to harm, but to teach humility, vigilance, and the eternal importance of faith. He realized that God's wisdom often hides in plain sight, and only those with courage and purity of heart can truly bear it. By the end of his journey, Bartolo Longo was no longer the naive priest who entered the cathedral decades earlier. He had faced temptation, hidden knowledge, and moral peril, and had emerged as a man who understood that the deepest secrets of the church were not meant to dominate, but to guide, protect, and illuminate the faithful. Even today, his story inspires awe and caution. Bartolo Longo had walked the line between revelation and danger, and his life became proof that true faith must withstand not only visible trials, but the hidden truths lurking behind sacred walls. Fire. As Bartolo Longo delved deeper into the hidden manuscripts, the weight of what he had uncovered pressed on him like a storm cloud. The text spoke of ancient rituals, celestial hierarchies, and the delicate balance between light and darkness, a knowledge so powerful it could corrupt even the purest soul if mishandled. Each night, whispers seemed to echo through the cathedral, as if the walls themselves carried secrets long forgotten. One evening, while examining a faded scroll, Bartolo noticed a passage that chilled him to the bone. It described a ritual meant to summon a messenger from the divine, a being capable of revealing the truth of God, but only to those whose hearts were untainted by greed or fear. The warning was clear. Failure could invite a darkness that would consume the soul entirely. His hands trembled, yet a strange compulsion urged him forward. He realized that this was more than curiosity, it was a calling. That night, he prepared a sacred space in secrecy, lighting candles and tracing the ancient symbols exactly as the scroll instructed. As he chanted the prayers, a cold wind swept through the cathedral, extinguishing some candles while leaving others ablaze with an unnatural blue flame. Shadows twisted on the walls, forming shapes he had never seen, half angelic, half demonic. Fear gripped him, yet he pressed on, repeating the words with unwavering faith. Suddenly, the air became still. A radiant light descended from above, filling the chamber with warmth and brilliance beyond human comprehension. In its center, a figure appeared, neither fully human nor entirely divine, glowing with a presence that made Bartolo's heart ache with both awe and humility. The being spoke, its voice resonating in his very soul. "Bartolo Longo, you have walked through shadows and sought the hidden truth. The path you chose was perilous, yet your heart remained steadfast. The Church is a vessel of humanity, and humanity is imperfect. The secrets you discovered are not meant to control, but to guide." Bartolo fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He realized that the secrets he had uncovered were not forbidden for the sake of secrecy. They were tests of faith, lessons in discernment, and protections against human pride. The divine messenger continued, "Use this knowledge wisely. Protect the faithful from corruption, but never let fear blind you. The greatest power is not in what you know, but in what you choose to do with it." From that moment on, Bartolo Longo became a guardian of the Church's hidden wisdom. He walked a life of humility, using his insight to guide those who were lost, to reveal the path of truth to those tempted by power, and to show that faith, courage, and integrity are stronger than any secret, any ritual, or any darkness that seeks to consume the soul. His legend grew, not as a man who sought forbidden knowledge for himself, but as a man who had faced it, survived, and returned to light with a mission to protect, enlighten, and inspire. Bartolo Longo had discovered the Church's deepest secret, and in doing so, he had uncovered a greater truth, that divine wisdom is never meant to dominate, but to illuminate, guide, and redeem. The final test came unexpectedly. One stormy night, as Bartolo Longo prayed alone in the cathedral, the shadows of the hidden chamber seemed to seep into the main hall. The air grew heavy and oppressive, the temperature dropping, as if the darkness itself had taken form. Whispers echoed through the arches, calling his name, mocking his faith, reminding him of every temptation, every doubt, every time he had wavered. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into a figure, a towering presence, neither fully human nor fully spectral, with eyes that glowed like embers and a voice that resonated like the thunder outside. It was the darkness of the Church's secrets made manifest, the culmination of every forbidden ritual Bartolo had uncovered. The being spoke, "Bartolo Longo, you sought knowledge meant to be forbidden. You have walked too far, and now you shall pay the price." Bartolo trembled, but he did not falter. He grasped the crucifix he always carried, feeling its weight in his hand as a tangible connection to the divine. With a steady voice, he spoke, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I reject you. You have no power over me. The secrets you guard are not yours to claim. I belong to the light of God, and His truth will prevail." The shadows roared, sweeping across the cathedral in a whirlwind of darkness, rattling chandeliers and shaking the stone floors. But Bartolo stood firm, reciting prayers, invoking the names of angels, and calling upon God's protection. Each word ignited a light from within him, growing stronger, piercing the darkness with radiance that burned like the sun. The being shrieked, unable to withstand the brilliance of his faith. Slowly it began to dissolve, its form scattering like smoke in the wind. Bartolo fell to his knees, exhausted but alive, as a warm, golden light filled the cathedral. Above him, the vaulted ceiling seemed to open to the heavens, and a voice, gentle yet powerful, spoke. "You have faced the shadows and chosen faith over fear. You have understood the hidden truths and used them to guide others, not yourself. Your journey is complete." In that moment, Bartolo saw visions of the countless lives he had touched, the souls he had saved from darkness, the faithful he had guided, the lessons he had imparted. He realized that the Church's deepest secrets were not meant to harm, but to illuminate the path for those brave enough to seek God's light. From that day forward, Bartolo Longo's name became immortal. He was remembered not as a man who had discovered forbidden knowledge for power, but as a guardian of wisdom, a guide for the lost, and a living testament that even the most hidden darkness could be overcome by unwavering faith. And so the ex-priest who had walked the fine line between shadow and light finally found peace, leaving behind a legacy that proved beyond doubt. No secret, no darkness, no evil can withstand the truth and mercy of God. Latin Cross Fire. As Bartolo Longo knelt in the radiant light, he felt a peace deeper than anything he had ever known. The shadows that had haunted him for decades were gone, not destroyed, but rendered powerless by the strength of his faith. The cathedral, once a place of hidden secrets and whispered fears, now shone with divine brilliance, a sanctuary where truth and mercy converged. In the days that followed, stories of his final confrontation spread like wildfire. Pilgrims traveled from faraway lands, drawn not only by curiosity, but by hope. Those burdened by guilt, fear, or the weight of forbidden knowledge came seeking guidance, and in every prayer they offered, they felt the lingering presence of Bartolo Longo's spirit, gentle, protective, and luminous. It was as if his life's mission had transcended mortality, becoming a beacon for all who struggled in darkness. Even centuries later, the legend endured. Scholars, priests, and the faithful alike spoke of him not merely as a man who discovered the Church's deepest secret, but as one who had faced the ultimate trial, survived, and turned his knowledge into a tool for redemption. Bartolo had walked among shadows, touched forbidden power, and yet emerged a guardian of the light. The final truth he left behind was simple yet profound. The greatest secret of all is not hidden manuscripts or arcane rituals, is the mercy and love of God, available to every soul willing to seek it with courage and humility. Today, the cathedral where he once uncovered the hidden chamber stands as a symbol of faith tested and faith victorious. Candles flicker in his honor, and prayers rise for guidance and protection. Visitors feel the weight of history and the promise of redemption in every stone, every echo, every whisper. Bartolo Longo, the ex-priest who dared to uncover the truth, who walked the edge of darkness and survived, continues to inspire, a living testament that even the deepest shadows cannot withstand the light of God. And so his story ends, not in fear, not in despair, but in eternal illumination. The man who served in secret, who faced forbidden knowledge, and who stood before darkness itself, now rests in peace, forever a guardian of faith, a guide for the lost, and a symbol of God's infinite mercy. I fire Latin Cross.